right, hey now, it's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM here today with my tag team partner in podcasting.
Gavin, what's up? I am filling in, I am the Marty Jannetty to your Shawn Michaels.
Well, Steve was not able to make it in today. We would love to have his input, but he's been certainly around plenty, and I know he's got opinions about this, and we'll talk about it next week.
Is he even committed?
I believe that he is. Let's talk about the big news, because we have to have an emergency episode today of Post to Post.
I knew that you sounded the alarm.
Yeah,
and I knew that somebody got suspended.
That spider symbol was in the sky.
It was.
For Roman Reigns, because the most talked about figure on this show, in the history of this show, dating back years, has been Roman Reigns.
Yes, believe that.
He was champion up until this past Sunday, and it looks like he was just popped for a wellness violation, a 30-day suspension, as it is his first violation. Not exactly known what precisely it was that he violated, although I'm going to go ahead and say it was probably some sort of performance-enhancing drugs.
Let us speculate.
What do you think it was?
I don't know. I think it's probably... First off, I think it's super stupid that Roman Reigns could have any body type at this point and still be pushed to the moon.
Right.
He can come back looking like Yokozuna in 30 days. They'd be like, we need you to be the guy. I don't know why he's taking, he already has, this Greek god body anyway.
Yeah.
What else could he be doing?
Yeah, okay.
Also, you wrestle in a SWAT vest. What are you trying to show off?
You make a really good point. So I kind of want to remind everyone where you do stick, because Steve is very pro-Roman Reigns. I am very anti-Roman Reigns. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
I'm okay with Roman Reigns when he's not being forced on us as the guy.
That's the way I feel.
When he was doing his BFF stuff with Dean Ambrose, I thought it was great when they were letting him be a character. Even when he was taking on Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31, and the crowd kind of got behind him a little bit, and him trying to overcome the odds, that was cool. But from Royal Rumble to Mania, they're all Roman all the time. And
Yes.
you're like, no, I don't like this.
Right, you're absolutely right. That he's been forced down our throats, and that will not be the case over the next 30 days. So let's talk about the things that we do know before we speculate about what really happened. I do think it's safe to probably assume it was PEDs. And this definitely goes to show, by the way, that this was not some sort of... There's no way you can interpret steroids helping your promo ability, your ability to speak clearly, your ability to relate to an audience, to emote.
I mean, to be fair, it could be Quaaludes, because he has a tough time talking sometimes.
Yeah, it could have been an overdose on some sort of downer, exactly.
Yes.
It wasn't Molly he was taking, I can tell you that.
Believe that. I'm not the guy. I'm the guy.
So yeah, it was nothing that would make someone more interesting.
Explains why he's always wet, though.
That could be.
He's like, I'm just so hot from all this dancing.
That's all the electronic music that he's listening to
Yeah.
on his phone or whatever.
The techno remix of the Shield theme.
So, okay, he's obviously in a high-profile spot right now. The title was taken off of him on Sunday. I'm reading conflicting reports about whether or not the WWE knew on Sunday about this violation. Last I heard is that they did, although I was under the impression that they did not. If they did, it would make sense as to why the belt was rushed off him in the way it was. It could not have come at a worse time for Roman. For fans, it couldn't have come at a better time. But for Roman, it came at a really bad time. And so it also makes you wonder, if they knew on Sunday, why would they put him in the main event at the next pay-per-view?
At Battleground?
Yeah, Battlegrounds.
I don't know. Maybe some people wouldn't catch on. I'm going to go with they didn't know that he was this on Sunday night, and that it's just a happy coincidence.
Right.
And that I like to believe that they wanted Dean Ambrose to be champion even without Roman Reigns getting popped for PEDs or Seth Rollins as champion. So I think it's a good idea that this happened because they want to do a triple threat for Battleground, correct?
That's the plan right now.
And that's a SummerSlam match. That's not a Battleground
That's what I
match.
thought.
So maybe him getting popped for PEDs or whatever he did, crack cocaine, perhaps.
Maybe.
We don't know.
It could have been.
Roman does crack. Start it, guys. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise, because that's a SummerSlam main event. All three Shield members in a triple threat match. That's awesome.
So do you think, now his violation will end prior to Battleground, about 3 days prior. That's the 30-day mark. So will he still be in the main event in July?
No.
You think no?
No, I think I'd like to think that they make him work his way back up a little bit. He's not going to be fighting Fandango or whatever anytime soon.
Probably not.
Or jobbing Zack Ryder. But I think that he should have a month off from the main event picture and then work his way back in for SummerSlam.
Okay, I agree that's what they should do. I'm going to say this one's a really tough call. They leave him in the main event. Personally, it will be a big celebration, a return. He did his time. Now we're not going to punish him any further. He did. He owned up to it. And now he's back. So I say they keep him in there.
So you think they keep it a triple threat match?
I do.
That's terrible.
I also heard that on SmackDown, which was taped last night, they're still advertising that main event. Doesn't mean it's happening. This is what I'm hearing.
Well, maybe they get. Well, if they're going to write him out, they're not going to write him out on SmackDown.
There's that too. That's a really good point.
Because SmackDown is like, I don't know, it's
Plus,
like a minor league baseball game.
I mean, there's that, and then there's also the fact that if it's possible they found out about this yesterday, you didn't have time to change stuff, video packages, or really make a hard plan about where they're going with it yet. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It could mean that don't take it as he's guaranteed to be in it. Who knows what they're going to do? Yeah. I don't even know how they're going to. I mean, they don't really admit this stuff on television usually, but they're happy to do it online.
Yeah.
How do they address this on TV? Is it an injury?
I mean, I think if they did it, I think Seth Rollins' character should taunt him. Like, Seth Rollins as a character should just be like, I don't have to do this. I came... It would reinforce how he came back the right way in like a record amount of time after blowing out his body. And it would just get him over more. And then, because you don't want the ladies or the kids who are all about the Roman Reigns to be like, no, our hero's a drug user. But,
right. So
they put this weird line to toe.
You're right. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. The way they handle it, it will be interesting in the days to come. So, where do we go from here? So if you don't think he'll be in the main event, he won't be coming back fighting Fandango, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Where does he go from here?
I mean, if he's coming back 3 days before Battleground, I say you have him in a backstage segment and don't let him wrestle on Battleground.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I think.
And then
or have him do a run at the end.
And then you kind of reinsert him into the SummerSlam main event?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. That's certainly very possible.
Yeah.
How will this affect him long term? Does WWE forgive and forget, or do you think this combined with what I can only describe as a disastrous title run really make things, compound things, and make it a lot worse for him in the long run?
The WWE does not give a crap about the title run. They don't care. If they cared,
you're probably right.
If they cared, they wouldn't have had him win the Royal Rumble 2 years in a row. Or no, they had him win the Royal Rumble and then he lost the title this year. But they wouldn't care about how the fans respond because they kind of don't already.
Well, yes and no. Okay, while I don't think it's the be-all, end-all of this decision, I think that they noticed this did not go the way they intended it to. The crowd is not behind Roman the way they thought that they would be, and I think that they're going to adapt to that. Whether that means he's never going to get a title run again, I don't know. But I think they're going to take notice.
Just go full Batista return heel. Just do that. Just do it. If the fans are constantly crapping on the guy you want to be the guy, then make the guy turn him. And then
makes sense.
And then make the reaction that is happening naturally. Stop trying to force the reaction.
I don't disagree with you, Gavin.
I know.
I mean,
well, screw you.
The heel turn has been talked about for so long because the crowd doesn't like him. But that's normally what you're supposed to feel for a heel. The crowd's not supposed to like a heel. So yeah, that makes sense. But they really have him as the face in two different ways.
Roman Reigns is generic, handsome creator wrestler. And
Original K.
And for some reason, they're just like, they have put everything behind him because he's cousins with The Rock and all that stuff, and he has a heritage of wrestling.
He is, and I know why.
He's not a bad wrestler. He's not a bad wrestler.
He's not bad.
He's not bad at all. But they're just trying to do too much. If he were in like more of a position where, I don't know, I guess like Rhino. Rhino is fine. Could you imagine if they try to force Rhino down our throats every week?
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what they're doing with Roman Reigns.
You're right, and that's because that's when I start having a problem with Cena, who I really don't have a problem with Cena. I don't like when he is every segment, when he's the focus of everything, when he's the champion for the 16th time, and I love him in the middle of the card in a story-driven feud without the title. Like, I love seeing him there.
I like Cena as U.S. champion. I thought the U.S. Open...
That was great, yeah.
I thought the U.S. Open was exciting. I thought that was a lot of fun. And right now, John Cena is starting to embrace that veteran. He's been around forever. He's embracing his veteran status by... He's putting other guys over, which is nice. But, I mean, if he gets his wins back, He'll probably get his win back at SummerSlam and then WrestleMania from AJ Styles, and just like he'll single-handedly add to just the entire Bullet Club, and we'll just be like, oh well, this is
okay.
But I think they're moving away from that. I think as Triple H gets more and more power, I think they're slowly moving towards.
I feel like with Cena, I've had this conversation with other people too. I feel like at the very least, while he may get those wins back, it doesn't illegitimize the stars that he actually made.
Yeah.
Like, he made Owens. Like, Owens became a star because of Cena and that original feud. I mean, obviously because of Owens.
I'm going to disagree with that. I mean, if you're an NXT fan, Sami Zayn made Kevin Owens.
Okay, but I'm talking about on the main roster.
On the main roster, I mean, yeah, Cena did.
Cena put him over like crazy.
He did. Well, he put him over once, and then
but that established him.
And then he beat him two. They beat him 2 pay-per-views in a row.
Okay, but do you really think fans have like a tally mark of wins and losses?
This guy does.
I know you do, but I'm saying
Kevin
I don't
Owens.
think people
I love
care.
KO.
That first impactful win meant more than the 2 losses that followed it. It really did. It established Kevin Owens to the core audience.
It did.
The core audience that, remind you, does not watch NXT, does not read the news sites the way you and I do, doesn't watch wrestling the same way you and I do.
I just wish he would have let him enjoy that win, because on that same pay-per-view, Cena's like, I'm going to get my win back. Like, on that same pay-per-view, and it's in a rematch up before the thing had gone over. Let Owens enjoy his win. And then, like, even the matches don't really matter, but don't have Cena come out and cut off Kevin Owens' balls. Like, they're like, I'm a real man, you're not a real man. I'm like, what? I don't
want to speak for anybody, but I'm gonna bet if you ask Kevin Owens, did Cena give you a pretty big hand, a pretty big help when you first came?
I'm not saying he didn't help. I just wish he wouldn't have lost back-to-back in a row.
Okay. I mean, you're certainly entitled to that, but I think Cena Owens came out stronger of that feud than he went in for sure.
And that's fair.
You know, and he came in on nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about NXT. I know he made a huge name for himself on the independent scene in NXT, but on the main roster, Cena launched him, and I think that's kind of indisputable. So
I'd say he gave him like 75% of launching.
Okay, he got it back. I do understand that, but you know, he was certainly a big help. So let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Okay.
Thank you for stepping up and filling in today. We will keep you posted with anything involving this story. Obviously, this is huge news. Roman Reigns suspended from the WWE for 30 days following a wellness violation.
Heroin. Maybe.
For myself, the Rob, and my tag team partner, Gavin.
Yeah. Okay.